The small town of Millstone, Ohio, was the kind of place where everyone knew your name, your parents' history, and sometimes even the trouble you hadn't gotten into yet. On most mornings, the high school hallway buzzed with talk about football scores, weekend parties, and jobs. But today, all the chatter was about wasn't like most kids. Taller than her classmates with strong shoulders and a quiet, steady presence, she carried herself with a dignity that drew attention. Her hair was pulled back in a tight braid, framing a face that seemed older than 16. And today, she wore something unusual, a full camouflage uniform and boots. Heads turned, whispers spread. "Who does she think she is?" a girl muttered. "Army girl or something," another snickered. "Bet she can't even throw a football," a boy laughed. Ignored them. She had heard it all before. Her father served in the army, her brother had deployed twice, and she wanted to follow in their footsteps. At school, though, she was a target for ridicule. At lunch, she sat alone. A popular girl laughed, "Look at her, all serious. Who wears that to school? She probably sleeps in her boots." Didn't react. She knew better than to give them power over her emotions. Her uniform wasn't just clothing, it was her promise to herself to be brave. Friday brought a special event. The football team was practicing when a Black Hawk helicopter approached the field. The rotors whipped dust into the air, and students froze. The military captain called for volunteers and stepped forward. "I can help," she said calmly. "Yes?" the captain asked. "Yes," replied. She climbed into the helicopter, guiding the crew, showing students how to secure equipment, communicate over the radio, and prepare for a field extraction. Her confidence and authority silenced even the harshest critics. As the Black Hawk hovered over the bleachers, the students watched in awe. Laughter and whispers stopped. When the helicopter landed again, emerged, not as the mocked girl in camo but as a leader. Her classmates stared, some in admiration, others in quiet disbelief. The popular girl from lunch approached, embarrassed. I didn't know." Nodded politely. "It's okay, I came here to do my job." For the first time, the school saw her differently. Courage wasn't a costume, it was a choice. But respect wasn't immediate or easy. Rumors spread that was showing off or trying to steal attention. Whispers followed her through the halls, and sideways glances remained at lunch. Even small victories, she realized, could breed jealousy. Her parents understood. "Strength isn't about showing off," her father told her one evening. "It's what you do when no one's watching and when people are against you." Absorbed the words, knowing her challenges weren't just at school, they would follow her into the wider world. The tension reached a peak the next week. The Bulldogs' biggest game of the season was that Friday and was asked to assist again during halftime. The entire town would watch. Her classmates muttered under their breath. "Bet she'll mess up this time. She thinks she's a hero." Ignored them. Words were noise, action was proof. As the Black Hawk descended, coordinated the crew, demonstrating safety procedures and rescue techniques. Suddenly, a gust of wind caught the helicopter's rotor wash, scattering debris. One of the younger ROTC students froze in panic. Sprinted, shielding the student and securing equipment, a flying helmet bouncing dangerously close. The helicopter lifted and stood on the field, dust clinging to her uniform, unshaken. The crowd erupted, not just with applause but with awe. Even the football players who had mocked her were silent. For a moment, whispers and ridicule vanished. Admiration replaced it, though noticed small traces of jealousy from a few students. Rumors began to circulate again. Some claimed she staged the gust to show off, but stayed calm, answering questions honestly, demonstrating her training and never backing down. At home, her father placed a hand on her shoulder. "People will always try to define you by what they see," he said. "But your actions define who you are." Realized that was the truth. Small victories mattered, but integrity and courage mattered more. By the end of the week, students looked at her differently. They saw she had faced fear, protected others, and acted with true bravery, yet knew the ultimate test was still ahead, the next public challenge, whatever it might be. She would face it with courage, honor, and unshakable resolve. And in Millstone, the girl in camo was no longer just a curiosity. She had become a force, a living example that bravery isn't worn, it's lived, and anyone who watched her knew it.